the one decade that decides your financial future. There's one decade in your life that decides your entire financial future, your 30s. This isn't an exaggeration. It's mathematics, biology, and opportunity converging into a narrow window where everything you do compounds exponentially for the rest of your life. Your 20s are for learning and building foundations. Your 40s are for accelerating what you started. Your 50s and 60s are for preserving and enjoying. But your 30s, that's when wealth is built or lost. It's the decade where compounding truly begins, where career earnings peak, where habits solidify, and where decisions made today determine whether you retire wealthy or struggle financially for decades. I'm Kyle, and today I'm breaking down why your 30s are the make or break decade, what happens if you waste them, what you should be doing right now if you're in your 30s, and how to recover if you're past them. If you're 28 to 42, this is the most important video you'll watch this year. Let's dive in. The first reason your 30s matter is compounding time. If you start investing at 30 and contribute $500 a month at 8% returns, by 60, you'll have $745,000. If you wait until 40, you'll have $297,000, less than half. That's a $448,000 penalty for delaying 10 years. The numbers are brutal. Every year you delay in your 30s costs you approximately $50,000 to $100,000 in future wealth. Your 30s are the sweet spot where you still have 30-plus years until retirement, which gives compounding maximum runway, but you're also earning significantly more than your 20s, which means you can contribute larger amounts. Someone who invests aggressively in their 30s and coasts in their 40s and 50s will end up wealthier than someone who waits until their 40s to get serious. Time is the most powerful variable in wealth building, and your 30s are the last decade where you have enough time to make compounding work miracles. After 40, you're fighting uphill. In your 30s, the math works effortlessly in your favor. The second reason is peak earning growth. Your 30s are when salary increases are steepest. In your 20s, you're entry level, earning $40,000 to $60,000. By your early 30s, you're mid-career, earning $70,000 to $100,000. By late 30s, you're potentially at $100,000 to $150,000 plus if you switch jobs strategically, negotiated raises, and built high-income skills. This income ramp is the window to maximize savings. If you're earning $50,000 and saving 20%, you're saving $10,000 a year. But if you're earning $120,000 and maintain that 20% savings rate, you're saving $24,000 a year, more than double. The mistake most people make is lifestyle inflation. As income increases, spending increases to match, so they never build margin. Your 30s are when you have the income to save aggressively, but also the temptation to spend aggressively. The people who resist lifestyle inflation in their 30s become millionaires by their 50s. The people who inflate their lifestyle stay broke forever, regardless of income. The third reason is habit solidification. By your 30s, your financial habits are either established or they're not. If you enter your 30s with no savings discipline, you'll likely exit your 30s the same way. If you enter your 30s already investing 15 to 20% of income, you'll maintain and accelerate that habit. Neurologically, habits formed in your 20s and 30s tend to stick for life. This is why people who start investing in their early 30s usually continue for decades. It becomes automatic. But people who reach 35 or 38 without ever starting rarely start at all. The inertia is too strong. Your 30s are the last realistic opportunity to build wealth-building habits before they calcify into patterns that are nearly impossible to change. If you're 32 and haven't started saving, the next 3 to 5 years are critical. If you reach 40 without establishing these habits, statistically, you probably never will. The decade decides not just your net worth, but your financial identity. The fourth reason is life complexity. Your 30s are often the last decade where you have relative simplicity. In your 20s, you're figuring out your career and often broke. In your 40s and 50s, you have kids in school, aging parents, mortgage payments, career pressure, and health issues. But your 30s? For many people, it's the sweet spot. You're earning well, you might be married or partnered, you may have young kids or none yet, and you have energy and health. This is the window to grind. You can work long hours, take career risks, start side businesses, and invest aggressively because you're not yet burdened by the full weight of life complexity. By your 40s and 50s, you're juggling too many things and your capacity to hustle diminishes. Your 30s are the decade to be ruthless about prioritizing wealth building before life gets too complicated. If you waste your 30s coasting, you'll spend your 40s and 50s scrambling to catch up while managing exponentially more stress. Here's what you should be doing in your 30s. First, invest 20 to 30% of your gross income minimum. If you're not hitting this, cut expenses or increase income until you do. Second, max out all tax-advantaged accounts. 401k, IRA, HSA, these are free money through tax savings and compound faster. Third, avoid or eliminate all consumer debt. Credit cards, car loans, personal loans, debt destroys compounding. Fourth, aggressively increase income. Negotiate raises every 12 to 18 months. Switch jobs every 2 to 3 years for 15 to 30% bumps. Build side income streams. Your 30s are peak earning years. Exploit them. Sixth, resist lifestyle inflation ruthlessly. Live like you're still in your 20s even as income doubles. Bank every raise. Seventh, buy assets, not liabilities. Real estate, index funds, businesses, things that appreciate or generate cash flow. Eighth, automate everything. Set up automatic transfers to investment accounts so discipline isn't required. Ninth, track net worth monthly. What gets measured gets managed. 10th, invest in yourself, skills, education, health. These compound too.
Let's talk about what happens if you waste your 30s. If you enter your 30s with zero saved and exit your 30s with zero saved, you've lost a decade you can never recover. You'll enter your 40s behind, which means you'll spend your 40s, 50s trying to catch up while earning less runway for compounding. By the time you hit 50 with minimal savings, retirement becomes a fantasy. You'll work into your 70s, live on Social Security alone, around $20,000, $25,000 a year, and struggle financially for the rest of your life. The brutal reality, people who waste their 30s rarely recover. They become the 60-year-olds still working retail, the 70-year-olds living in poverty, the ones who regret every financial decision they made in their 30s. The compounding you missed in your 30s is irreplaceable. You can't make it up by saving more in your 40s. The math doesn't work. Wasting your 30s is one of the most expensive mistakes you can make, and you won't realize it until your 50s when it's too late. Now, let's compare two scenarios. Person A starts investing $1,000 a month at age 30 and stops at 40. They invest for 10 years, contributing $120,000 total. At 8% returns, by age 60, they have $1.1 million. Person B waits until 40 to start, then invests $1,000 a month from 40 to 60. They invest for 20 years, contributing $240,000 total, double what Person A contributed. But at age 60, Person B only has $590,000. Person A, who invested half as much but started 10 years earlier, has nearly double the wealth of Person B. This is the power of compounding in your 30s. The decade you start matters more than the amount you contribute. Starting in your 30s and investing consistently beats starting in your 40s and doubling contributions. Time is the multiplier. Your 30s give you that time. Your 40s don't. The people who understand this become wealthy. The people who don't spend their 40s, 50s scrambling. If you're already past your 30s and didn't capitalize on them, here's how to recover. First, accept reality without wallowing. You're behind, but action today is better than inaction. Second, increase savings rate dramatically. Aim for 30 to 40% of income. You have less time, so you need more intensity. Third, maximize tax-advantaged accounts. The tax savings accelerate catch-up. Fourth, cut one major expense. Downsize housing, eliminate car payments, slash discretionary spending. Redirect that money to investments. Fifth, increase income aggressively. Side hustles, job switches, freelancing.
Extra $20,000 to $30,000 a year makes a massive difference over 15 to 20 years. Sixth, consider working 3 to 5 years longer than planned. Those extra years of contributions and compounding close big gaps. Seventh, invest more aggressively if you're under 55. Higher risk equals higher returns over time. Eighth, avoid panic. You can still retire comfortably, but it requires discipline and intensity now. The sooner you start, the better the outcome. Let's talk about the psychology of your 30s. This is the decade when most people feel invincible. You're healthy, your career is growing, life feels stable. This breeds complacency. I'll start saving next year. I'll get serious about investing after I buy the house. I'll focus on wealth after I enjoy my 30s. This mindset is a trap. Your 30s feel long when you're in them, but they pass in a blink, and suddenly you're 40 with the same financial position you had at 30. The people who win in their 30s treat the decade with urgency. They know they have a narrow window and they don't waste it. They sacrifice short-term comfort for long-term security. They delay gratification. They make boring, disciplined choices that compound into extraordinary outcomes. Your 30s don't feel urgent until they're over. By then, it's too late. The urgency has to be manufactured now while you're in the decade, not after it's gone. The people who maximize their 30s share specific traits. They live well below their means despite income growth. They automate savings before they can spend. They avoid debt obsessively. They invest in assets, not consumption. They track net worth quarterly and adjust strategies. They increase income aggressively through job switches and side income. They educate themselves continuously about finance and investing. They resist social pressure to keep up with peers. They prioritize wealth building over vacations, cars, and status symbols. They understand that their 30s are a sprint, not a marathon, and they act accordingly. By their 40s, they're financially independent or close to it. By their 50s, they're wealthy. They didn't get lucky, they capitalized on the decade that matters most. Meanwhile, their peers who coasted through their 30s are still stressed about money, still working jobs they hate, still hoping something changes. The difference was made in one decade. At the core, your 30s are the decade that decides your financial future. It's the convergence of time, income growth, habit formation, and compounding power. If you're in your 30s, this is your moment. Start today. Calculate your savings rate. If it's under 20%, fix it immediately. Automate contributions to investment accounts. Cut one major expense. Increase income by negotiating or switching jobs. Track net worth monthly. And commit to making your 30s the decade you look back on with pride, not regret. If you're past your 30s, don't despair. Start now with intensity. Every year matters. Tell me in the comments, are you in your 30s? And what's one thing you'll do this week to capitalize on the decade? This is your financial future. This is the window. Let's not waste it.